recording. Okay, so welcome. This is the third, oh wow, and final class before we have our Thanksgiving break. And in honor, we're doing a very traditional Dutch style still life. This is a photo reference I stole from Pinterest, one of my favorite sources for images. And it is very classical, and that's what I liked about it. Please make sure you have pre-sketched your surface. I'm giving you some warning before we begin. In terms of the composition for this painting, with the rule of thirds lines, they're intersecting at the bottle and at the dark part on the pumpkin, where the back end of the pumpkin meets the cut edge. So those are going to be the main focal areas, mainly because we have the light and the dark interacting in those spots. So I tried to keep that in mind in terms of the composition. In terms of color, it's going to be an orange and blue palette with some blue violet and some blue green. I didn't actually use any true blue in this painting, so it's only blue violet and blue green. Also, the orange is going to be orangish red, pure orange, and yellow orange. So we'll have a little bit of other colors in there. So I'm going to move us to the easel, and we'll start working on choosing who goes to VIP seating. So let me switch the camera. Okay, put this back here so everyone can see it. Now, VIP seating tonight is a little more crowded than usual. So we're going to be working with quite a few different pastels, starting with the darkest darks. I actually have a black, and this one is a hard pastel so that I can make some thin lines. If you don't have a hard pastel, you can use a soft pastel, but I have a pure black. Next is a deep purple, deep purple. So this is violet, and it's a true deep violet.
Sean, if I don't have that color, can I substitute it for something else?
Yes, you can substitute it for a red violet or a blue violet if you don't have anything that's pure and deep like this. Try to find something, if you don't have a violet per se, a dark blue, and you could stumble a little red on top of it if you need to. Okay, for the fours, I am using another violet, and this is one step lighter. Actually, no, it's one step redder more than lighter. So this is another violet that that actually should be in the fives. So I'm going to combine it with the fives. So we're going to have two fives. One is a red violet, and one is a truer violet or a blue violet. So if you don't have a red violet that's super dark, use a dark brown, like a chocolate color, and that'll give you the same feel. It's a warm violet.
Hey, Emma or Emma.
Okay. All right, now we're going to go one step lighter. This is red violet, and it's closer to magenta, red, violet. It's a lighter value than the one we just used for the 5. So here's the 4. This is a 4 value. Next, we're using a mauve. A mauve is like a grayed out purple. If you don't have anything that's mauve, use a brown. This is a shadowy brown. It's a dark, cool color. Well, I don't know. I guess depending on what you're putting it next to, it could be considered a warm color too. That's the fun thing about violet. Violet could go either way. It could be warm or cool, depending on what's next to it. Green is the same way. They both have an equal amount of warm and cool. So this is a mauve. It's a lighter version of the purple. So just to put it in perspective for you, this is a 4 value, this is a 5 value. So you want to have one step lighter. That's it for the purples. This is a very deep, dark green, like a forest green. I'm using it as a shadow color. I've actually already used it to sketch my surface. This is the color I use for sketching. It isn't crucial what color you use for sketching because it's going to wind up being incorporated into the dark. So it was the color I liked. And then this is a shadowy pumpkin color. So last color, this is very similar to the mauve. It's a brown. You can see the difference between the mauve and the brown right here. But this is a hard pastel. So I'm going to be using it to get in tight and make some texture in places where a soft pastel won't work. So I'm using a hard light brown pastel as well as the mauve pastel. So both of them are about the same value and close to the same color. One is just a little harder and that makes it easier to use. That's it for the fours. Moving to the threes. This is a light orange. Light orange. So it is one step lighter than the dark orange of the 4 is how it wound up being a 3. So this is the 3, this is the 4. Next is a yellow orange. This is like a cadmium yellow or a school bus orange. It's pretty intense. It's going to be a color that we use on the rind of the pumpkin. So if you are looking to color match to find the color, try finding a color that's close to the skin of the pumpkin. Okay. Right, and then the last of the threes is teal or blue green. I'm taking the wrapper off this one so it's a little clearer. Teal, this is the color for the tablecloth. So if you want a color match, you're looking for something close to that color. Teal. It isn't a painting without teal. Okay, this brings us to the two values. The twos are the lights. The first one is a light orange. And color matching for this is the skin of the pumpkin in the background. So light orange. Next is yellow green. Yellow green. So this is a lighter color to value. We're going to use it just a little bit on the rind of the cut pumpkin. Next is a lavender light purple. So this is going to give us about 3 values of purple now. If you're color matching, this is the highlight color on the wine bottle here. The last of the twos is light blue. Light blue. For the life of me, I can't remember why I chose light blue. Oh, I think it's a back, no, but we'll figure it out. Light blue. I think it has to do with the glass reflection. Now for the ones, I have only two colors, that is. And they both look so close that it's hard to discern between them. One is more of a yellow white. The other is a white that's warmer. So this is a super light yellow and a white. We'll be using both of those. When you have your surface pre-sketched and your palette all picked out. Give me a thumbs up so I know you're caught up, and then we'll get started. Thank you, Pat. Thank you, Diane. Thanks, Vivian. Thanks, Karen. Thanks, Jackie. Amazes me how your hands can be so dirty. Thank you, Ron. Thanks, Sue. Okay, so while everyone else is preparing, when I evaluate a reference photo, even a still life, my go-to is always to work from dark to light. The second choice might be from the back to the front. In a still life, you really need to go from dark to light, mainly because the depth of field is much shallower than for a landscape. You're not looking at layers upon layers. So keep that in mind. VJ, are you all caught up? Give me a thumbs up. Awesome. Thank you, my friend. We're good to go. All right. And Jean, you're all caught up too? Awesome. Okay. And I will stop lollygagging and get us started. So we're going to jump in with our darkest dark. That's the 5 value. I'm going to start off with the pure black. Now take a deep breath. It's so hard to start with pure black, but in a still life, we want to have the deepest, darkest color in place first. Now I'm putting it in the foreground. So that's in front of the pumpkin or behind the pumpkin, behind the onion, towards the edge, the lower right-hand corner. In front of the objects on the table. And then all the way over to the left-hand corner. I'm keeping the darkest dark pretty much on the tabletop itself and what's behind it. So that was pure black. Next, I'm moving to the dark purple. The dark purple. I'm putting it towards the center part of the pumpkin that's facing us. I know it's tempting to go black there, but I'm using the dark purple instead. And I'm bringing it uh, to separate the wedges on the pumpkin, the lobes. Putting a little bit of it in the cut section of the pumpkin on the platter. I'm using it on the side of the cut pumpkin too. This is the form shadow. Also, underneath the wedge of pumpkin, the cast shadow, and between the pumpkin and the plate for the cast shadow on the platter. Oh,
Sean,
yes,
can you get back over the last couple of places where you put the dark color? I think
yes,
starting with the middle, the cheese pumpkin.
sure. I'd be happy to. I'll go over all of them. So with the purple, the dark purple, the places we're going to put it are in the center of the pumpkin to the right, including the line. Then the pumpkin that's cut open on the platter, I'm putting it in the cut open hole where the seeds are, in the indentation in the top, and on the sides where the form shadow would be to show the shape of it. Also, right underneath the pumpkin, where the pumpkin's sitting on the platter, that dark purple is going to be the cast shadow. It's also on the handle of the knife that's sticking out of the pumpkin and the blade. You don't have to put all those tiny details in. If you want to simplify and leave out the knife or skip the platter, feel free. It isn't going to adversely affect the still life. Now, on the cut pumpkin wedge that's right beside it, I used a little bit of that dark on the peel and underneath the pumpkin where it sits on the plate. I'm going to put a small touch of it where the seeds go as well, just a touch. Past that wedge, there's an onion sitting all the way to the left. I'm using the dark purple for the dark on the onion. Now, in the far back on the bottles, we're going to use the dark purple on the bottles for the dark as well, but we're going on top of it with another purple. So I'm starting off in the shadow part. And putting in dark purple. This is the same color. Paying attention to where the dark is and not covering up the light. So the shoulders of that bottle are light. So I'm using the bottle behind it to show where those shoulders are. Okay, and that's it with that purple. Now I'm using the other dark purple. This one is pure violet. Did you have a question, Diane?
Yes, the middle bottle. Did you use that purple on the middle bottle?
I did.
Yes. Okay. I didn't see that. Okay.
Okay. Okay. So the darker purple I'm going to use on two of those bottles, and this will help push them a little further back. So I'm putting it towards the middle of the bottle that has a pattern on it. If you don't have this color purple, you could use a blue and it will read as well because you're just making it a little cooler purple.
Sorry, you're a little fast for me today. Which, is that still a 5 or did you go to a 4?
No, we're still on the 5. So the
And dark,
difference is, yeah, these are both dark purple. One is a little more red violet. One's a little more blue violet or true violet. So if you don't have one that's a true violet, you can use blue on top of your red violet and it'll give you the same effect.
where did you start with that again? Just the bottles?
Yeah, just the two bottles. And I already put that other violet on those bottles. So I'm just deepening that color a little. Okay, that's it for the 5. So when you have all of these in place, give me a thumbs up so I know that you're all caught up with your 5. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Diane. Thank you, Sue. Thank you, Jackie and Ron. Thank you, Jean, or Rembrandt. All right, wonderful. Now at this point, you're starting to see the skeleton of the painting. You have the bare bones of it. It gives you a good idea of the pattern of the art. So we're going to move to the 4. The first 4 is a wine color. So this is a lighter red violet. Just to give you comparison, this is the 5, this is the 4. So it's one step lighter. And with this wine color, not surprisingly, we're going to paint the wine. Notice the neck of the bottle, the wine is a little lighter in the neck and the side of the bottle. In a still life, the color often reflects in other places too. So you'll notice that behind the big tall wine bottle, there's a shadow on the wall that's close to the same color as the wine. So I'm blocking in some of that color back behind the bottle. Okay. The bottle next to the wine bottle has a little bit of it on the neck. And for the form shadow towards the middle. The pumpkin that's on its side and facing those wine bottles also has some of that dark color on it. And that's because the shadow and the color reflects on other objects around it.
That's the number 4.
Yes, it's still the same color, the red violet. Okay, we're going to put a little bit of it inside the cut wedge of the pumpkin so that it acts as a dark background against the seeds. We already have some dark in there from the last pass. We're just putting a little bit more. I also forgot the top, the shiny lid on the bluish bottle, the rounded bottle in the background. Okay, the next form is dark green, dark green. We're going to put the dark green in the cast shadows on the tablecloth. So there's an onion that's casting a shadow. Or actually, I think it's 2 onions and maybe a small potato, which again, you don't have to put every detail, but the shadows on the table are going to be a little darker and greener than the shadows elsewhere because of the color of the tablecloth. I'm also using that dark green to put some of the form shadows on the cut pumpkin in the table. Extra credit, put a little bit of that dark green behind the pumpkin on the right-hand side in the background. Okay, deep breath. Just a few touches with that green, that's all you need. Now we're going to move to the mauve. This is the next four value. So it's a mauve. If you don't have a mauve this color, you can substitute a brown. Brown would work just fine too. The mauve is going to start off on top of the green behind the pumpkin as a background color. Now it doesn't have to be smooth. It just needs to be more of a middle value back there. I'm putting it on the peel of the pumpkin sitting on the platter that's cut. On the bottle that's shortest, all the way to the left. And then in the background, behind the wine bottles as well. All right, deep breath. We're almost done with the forest. Now we're moving to the dark pumpkin color. So this is the darker of the oranges. Starting with a little squat bottle in the middle, in the very middle. I'm going to put some orange on the stopper. You might want to blend it in the center of that bottle to keep it as a rounded form. We want that bottle to be not a hard edge bottle. The pumpkin can be hard edged up against the bottle. And I'm making the pumpkin overlap the bottle in front. Then the orange goes on the pumpkin wedges towards the center part of the wedge where you can still see the dark on the side. Just a little bit. And you'll see there's a pattern that's following light logic as you move around. The very center of that pumpkin gets a lot more of that dark orange than any other part of it. So it looks like there's an indentation in the bottom of the pumpkin. Don't blend on the pumpkin. Leave it rough. Use that orange color on the little onions towards the bottom too, on the outer edge, and the form shadow towards the middle. I'm using it on the blade of the knife that's cutting the pumpkin, and also right around the inside of the hole of the pumpkin where you see the seed. On the cut wedge of the pumpkin, there's some of the darker orange around the cut part on the rind and towards the center where the seeds are.
I'm sorry. I did my video instead of my speaking. Sean, what is the item that you just did that's down on the far left? It's got like a little orange top. What is that?
Oh, okay, that's an onion off to
Oh,
the
it's
side.
another onion. Okay.
Uh-huh. all the
Okay.
way to the little onion.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome to. So just to go over all of the places where I put that dark orange. Now this is the 4 value orange. So starting off with the bottle in the center, I painted almost the entire bottle with that color. We are going to go back and change some of it later. Then moving to the pumpkin, there's a really strong orange presence on the wedges that are facing the bottle, and try to leave as much of it unblended as possible so you get the rough texture. The wedges that are closest to the bottle have a lot of orange in them. You can still see the dark towards the center part. Then as we move away from those bottles, the orange moves down towards the center dark part on that pumpkin. You still see a little bit of creases of the pumpkin as you go around, but the dark is really gathered around the little stem part towards the middle. Then moving clockwise down to the right, there's 2 onions, one on its side and one that you can see the side of it. And both of them have some orange. Then the pumpkin that's cut on the platter, I put the orange right towards the center and in the middle where the seeds are and the blade of the knife. On the wedge of the pumpkin that's sitting on the plate, the dark orange is towards the outside edge. It's also on the peel and the seeds. And then the last place, as Sue pointed out, is the onion all the way to the left. And that's it for the 4s. We're going to go through the 3s before we take a break and look at these. So when you're done with all your 4s, give me a thumbs up so I know everybody's caught up, and then we'll move on. Thank you, Diane. Thank you, Karen. Thanks, Sue. Thanks, Vivian. Thanks, Pat. Thanks, Jackie. Thanks, Pete. Thanks, Ron. So I guess gardeners have green thumbs. Pastelists have multicolored or rainbow thumbs. All right. Now we're going to move to the 3s. We only have 3 different colors in the 3s. So we'll move through it a lot quicker. The first color is the brightest orange. This is orange. And I'm going to start again with the bottom. We'll work some of it into the stopper at the top. And then use it on one side. So towards the left side is lighter. We'll be putting some highlights on that side in a minute. But I'm just making the left side a little bit lighter.
Which color?
This is pure orange. It's the lightest
Okay.
orange. It's the 3 version of orange. All right, I'm going to skip the pumpkin and move down to the onion. And you remember how when we did the apples last week, we pulled the color towards the stem? I'm using the edge of it and painting it towards the stem with the apples. Or I'm sorry, with the onions down here. So that way you get a feel for the shape of the onion. And I'm using the orange for that. On the cut wedge of the pumpkin or the cutout, I'm using that lighter orange towards the bottom where the knife is and also towards the top. The middle part isn't going to be orange. It's going to be orangish yellow. So if you want, you can put a thin layer of orange or you can trust your orangish yellow to give you enough of an orange there.
I'm sorry, I need to have you say that again about the center of the
Okay.
cut
So
one. Say that again.
the cut pumpkin and that's sitting on the platter. I'm using the orange. This is the 3-value orange right around the knife on the bottom part and right at the top of the cut part. So the flesh towards the middle is mostly paper. That's going to be yellow orange. So you don't need to put any orange there. I put a little bit just to show you what I was talking about. But we're going to save that for yellow orange. On the part that was cut out of the pumpkin, I'm filling in most of the part that's facing away from the light with that orange. But I'm leaving the seed bed for yellow orange. That's going to be yellow orange later. Okay. The next of the threes is the yellow orange. So this yellow orange, I'm going to start up here on the bottle and use it in the stopper of the bottle. I'm keeping
This
the
school bus
pumpkin.
yellow? Sorry, school bus yellow?
Yeah. So it's just on the stopper. skipping the pumpkin that's on its side and moving down to the onions on the lower right-hand corner. I'm going to start towards the center of the onion and push the color out towards the edge. So I'm using it on both of those onions and the little potato. It is the only color on the little potato. All right. Where the cut is, I'm using that yellow orange towards the fleshy part of the pumpkin that you see cut. Now the next part is important. Watch me and then you do it. On the rounded part of the pumpkin, I want you to treat this like a bundt cake. So you're starting with the inside and you're making your lines go towards the outside in a curving shape all the way around. We're putting yellow on the rind of this pumpkin. When you get towards the middle, you're making the perspective. So it's almost like you're sculpting this pumpkin with your marks.
So this is still our school bus yellow, right?
Yes, we're not changing color. Once you get to the shadow side, you don't have to put as much of the yellow in, just a little bit here and there. Okay, on the cut wedge that's leaning up against the pumpkin, we're going to put some of that full breast yellow on the outer edge of the rind. And then on the fleshy part, towards the top and the bottom. Almost all the rest of it is covered already with the other orange. That's perfectly fine. There's a seed bed that's reflecting the light, and that's also yellow, where the seeds are. All right, our last color on the three is the teal. Teal, this is the tablecloth color for the teal. So for this color, I'm going to start off by putting the edge of the table right up to the casetta. Once you have the tablecloth put in place, the underside of the platter, you can see the lip towards the middle. And then the underside of the platter is reflecting some of that color. Extra credit if you can find one or two other places to put this color. I've been trying to, and for the life of me, I can't really figure out where else to put it. I'm putting a little bit of it in the background. All right, so this is a good stopping point. We're at the threes. This is about the middle part of the painting. So when you reach this stopping point, you're ready for an extra pair of eyes. Let's take a look. Vivian. Vivian, this is really beautiful and tiny. I'm surprised you chose a portrait format instead of a landscape format.
I did. I don't know why.
Well,
Ah,
it's fine. It's just you're having to get some really small details. So you're working a lot smaller.
okay.
Um,
Oh my God.
what's what's working really well so far are the lost and found edges on the bottles. I love the slight insinuation of the bottles. Try not to get too caught up in details when it comes to those pumpkins in the foreground, because the detail is so tight on there. Um,
Okay.
especially the lines in between the wedges. Let them be described by the light.
Okay. I can definitely smooth those out.
That's beautiful. Don't worry about it because when we put the light in, it should go away by itself.
Okay.
So
All
far,
right.
so good, my friend.
Thank
Looking
you.
beautiful. Okay, Ron, let's take a look.
You notice I'm more chatty than usual tonight, and I chose a 18 by 24, and I'm just having trouble catching up. And I may have
Oh, I
trouble putting
bet.
on, but I've done the other ones that way. So
Okay, so the perspective on the pumpkin that's cut is
yeah,
a little bit off. So you want to have a difference between the cut part of the wedge, like the seed part is more of an ellipse instead of a circle. So make it a little more oval and it'll fit the meat part of the pumpkin better.
okay,
And that's important because the wedge that's cut out of it is off to the side. So you want to make the two look like they belong together.
okay,
The pumpkin that's on its side is looking pretty good. Remember to let the lines that separate those lobes as you paint the light on top of it, let those lines disappear. So
okay,
what you see on your photo reference is those lines are pretty faint. So we
okay,
want to let them go. The bottles look great. So far, so good on those bottles. In the background, we're going to be very painterly. Oh, good.
okay. All right.
Nice new
Well,
studio space you have.
thanks. Frustrating.
All right. Thank you, my friend. And whenever you're ready, anyone else is ready, just give me a wave. Jackie. And then Pat, you'll be after Jackie. Hey, Jackie. Don't forget to unmute. Hi. Oh, Jackie. This is really beautiful. So far, so good. On the pumpkin that's sitting on the platter, remember it's shaped like a bundt cake. So the top left should be a little rounder. Yes, exactly. Exactly there. That's it.
Okay.
Nothing else
You're,
is a
I can,
problem.
okay, thanks.
Good. Beautiful.
Hey.
Yay. Good things happen when you don't overwork.
Whew, yes. Good point.
Pat, Paulette, if you're ready, jump in there.
Mute. Am I unmuted?
Howdy. You're unmuted.
I don't know why I keep seeing this thing in my anyway, doesn't matter. There's something right in the middle of my screen. I can't figure out why it's there. Because if I do this,
You're muted. You just muted yourself.
Uh-oh.
here we go.
There
Okay.
we go.
Well,
All
I
right.
didn't quite get the one pumpkin done down at
Okay.
but I started
Good.
with a black sheet. I wish I hadn't. But
I kind of like it because it's got a graphic feel to it that works really well. And by the time you add some of the lights, it'll change. The cut wedge of that pumpkin is elegantly done. Really elegantly done. I love that. If you did nothing else on those bottles, they would work really well.
okay.
They're beautiful as lost edges. Good. I see no problems at this
All
point.
right. Thanks.
So far, so good. I'm really liking this vein that you're tapping with
The
the
what?
past two paintings. The vein of gold that you're mining in these past two paintings.
Okay.
You're letting yourself be looser and more colorful,
Yeah.
almost Cezanne like in your approach to color. Keep it up. That's a nice effect.
Thanks.
All right, who else is ready? Karen, jump in. And then Jean, you'll be right after Karen. Wow.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, really pretty. Be careful
Wow.
with the pumpkin that's on the platter. it looks like it's growing on the bottom. It's okay that you don't have the platter. You don't need to include it, but I would maybe shadow the bottom part of it a little more. That's
Right
it.
on, right here.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Jean, you ready? Hi, Jean.
This lighting in here is so bad. I gotta find a way to. There we go.
Oh, that's better. Yeah. Okay, Jean, on the pumpkin that's on the platter, don't let there be a dark center to it. There is some dark there, but it's not that intense dark. Mainly because we want the pumpkin that's on its side that has that beautiful dark in the center to be the focal point. So you don't want to compete too much with it. Bottles look good. They're backup characters. I would make the edge of the pumpkin that's on the platter cleaner and clearer by having the bottles darker behind it.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, that's it.
Thank you.
Beautiful. BJ, you look like you're ready. I'm going to put you in the spotlight.
Oh,
Hey,
I'm not
BJ.
ready, but I might as well get this over
BJ.
with. No,
Miss-
I've lost my painting. I guess my sketch was pitiful. Let's
Uh-oh.
see.
Sue, you'll be right after BJ. It doesn't look like you lost it. Good.
I can't even see
Yep.
the one bottle.
That's all right.
And
The bottles are
okay.
backup singers. You don't want them to steal the spotlight. And I really don't have a problem with how you've handled the bottles. The pumpkin on its side is gorgeous. I love the shape of it. The onions and potatoes, they're fine. The
Need
pumpkin that's cut in the front, be
uh-huh.
careful and let the cut part of it be big. So the cut part is the whole side of it that you're looking at.
Okay.
Copy.
Yeah,
Pay attention.
I'm behind.
Well, the wedge that you have next to it needs to look like it
Uh-huh.
fits in that space. So make the space a little bit bigger, and I think it'll work.
Make it bigger.
Uh-huh. So that it
Okay.
takes up that whole face of the pumpkin, the whole cut face there.
This part or this part. This part needs to be bigger.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So
Okay.
what I'm talking about is the whole fleshy part of the cut. That's a big shape right there. It takes up the
Yeah.
whole front of that pumpkin, all the way to the rind.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Thank you,
I'll
my
do
friend.
my best.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, Sue, putting you in the spotlight, my friend. Oh, Sue. Sue, this is so painterly.
I was trying for that.
I love it. I really appreciate the loose painterly feel.
Thank you.
So far, so good with it. If you did nothing else with those bottles, they would be perfect. They
Thank you.
they stand there like the three wise men in the nativity scene, you know. They're not the focal point, they're the backup, and you don't want them to steal the show. The two pumpkins are spot on. They look really good. The wedge looks really good, leaning up against the pumpkin. I don't care too much about those onions, like they're kind of supporting actors. They're like the
Uh-huh.
animals in the nativity. They're not usually that important. So far so good. Awesome
Thank
work.
you. I had to laugh. I'm using that other set of pastels, and I kept looking at it like, are these fluorescent or what? They were so bright. I
They're
went from the
great.
Seleniere to that Montmartre. Yeah. And I laughed because they're just, as soon as I put them on, I'm like, woo. fluorescent,
Good.
but
It's,
I really do love it. I was surprised. Yeah. Thank
I
you.
do too.
Yeah.
Very
Thank you.
painterly, very graphic. It's working for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Diane, I don't think we've seen yours yet. Don't forget to unmute.
There we go.
Hi. Ooh, Diane.
Hmm.
All right, the bottles look nice. The pumpkin on its side and the onions look nice. The pumpkin on the platter, the front part of it is coming forward a little too much.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I would put a cast shadow underneath it to thin it out a little.
Mm-hmm.
That'll put it back into perspective. That's it.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes. Yeah. It doesn't look right to me. Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, perfect. All right, lovely people. I'm going to give you a few minutes to get caught up. Make any changes you wish to make. So we're going to get going again in 2 minutes. All right, so now we're moving to the twos. And on the twos, we're going to start putting in some of the beautiful light. So I'm starting off with a light orange, light orange. Now, I'm going to start with the bottle in the center with a little sheen on the stopper, a little sheen on the bottle. You can see there's a pattern of light, a highlight that goes all the way down on one side. Then I'm going to move to the pumpkin and introduce that highlight on the front part of the wedge. Not where the darkest dark is, but you'll see on the reference photo where the highlight starts and how it goes up on the same side of each wedge. We want to keep that uniform because that's light logic right there. And that shows us the form of the pumpkin. Remember to overlap your lines so that the pumpkin wedges aren't separated by a thick black line, but rather by a line that looks more natural. Work your way methodically around all of the lights on the wedges with the big pumpkin on its side. And then when you get down to the onions, start from the stem on the one and put some highlights out towards the middle. And then do just the stem on the other onion. All right, the pumpkin on the platter or the bundt cake looking pumpkin. We're gonna put this orangey white highlight on the skin and apply it in the same way that we did the yellow. The linear stroke following the shape of the pumpkin, starting from the center, going out and letting it overlap the background so that there's some texture on the pumpkin and it isn't perfectly smooth. Just on the outside, just on the right. Now the seeds inside that cut open pumpkin are also the same color. We're still using the light orange. Haven't changed colors. And I'm just putting a little texture to show the seed. Try not to make them too patternish. All right, now we're gonna move to the next two. The next two on our list is this super intense lime green. Don't let it scare you. We're only gonna use this on the peel of the pumpkin that's sitting on the platter. And I'm just using it to create some texture on the outside. It's a cool, shadowy color, and that's going to help us to create some of that reflected light and texture. Yeah, that's really the only spot I'm going to put it. So again, in case you missed it, this is the yellow green, and I just put it on a few spots on the texture of the peel of the cut pumpkin facing us. So just on the outer part. All right. The next two is lavender. Lavender. Now, we're going to work our way around the whole still life with this color. I'm starting with the bottle of wine and the clear part of the glass, putting some lavender in it. Also, the wine, we want to make sure that wine in the top part is lighter than the wine in the bottom part of the bottle. I'm going to put the lavender towards the center and behind the wine. We already have the teal back there. So I'm putting lavender on top of, I'm overlapping some of the teal. Now the shortest bottle all the way to the left has lavender along one side of it, and that defines the shape. All right, and then on the platter, I'm gonna put a little bit of lavender on the top part of the plate, if you have the plate. If you don't have the plate, just ignore it. Okay, the next color is light blue. Light blue. So the light blue, I'm going to use it to help define the top clear translucent glass on the bottle. I'm also using it on the top edge of the platter. This is the highlight edge. I don't want the highlight on this platter to be pure white. I want it to be light blue so it's not competing with the other highlight. The last place I'm putting it is towards the center part of the background where the light is hitting the background. And I'm just putting it right on top of the lavender. There will be places where the two overlap. You should have about 3-4 colors in that background now. I want to make sure the whole surface is covered at this point. So any bits of paper that are sticking out are going to snag your eyes. So I want to make sure I have the background pretty intensely colored. That's the only places for the light blue. Okay, this leaves us with our two lights, our two highlights. Now the highlight, starting off with the light yellow. You can see the difference between the two. This is white. This is light yellow. The light yellow goes in the stopper in the wine bottle. And a little highlight down the whole side of the bottle. I'm not putting the main highlight on just yet. Do the same thing with the orange bottle. I'm using light yellow for the highlight. Okay, the pumpkin that's on its side, you can see there's a highlight in the seam, and then towards the middle of the wedge, wherever you see a shiny bright area that's a little bit lighter than the pumpkin color itself, that's the highlight. Now the pure white highlight will be next. So go ahead, finish up your light yellow, and then grab the pure white. We're only going to put it in a couple of places. The pure white highlight is the shiniest highlight on the bottle of wine, on the cap, on the small squat bottle. It's the highlight towards the center part of the pumpkin that's on the platter, to the center of the bundt cake. The edge of the cut piece. And the back end of the knife if you're including it. And that's it. That's the only places for that light. All right, that is my story. I'm going to stick to it. I'm not going to do anything else to this still life tonight. I'm going to leave it alone. So when you reach a point where you're done with yours, let's take a look. Jackie, I want you to go first. So reach a stopping point. Excellent.
You're so funny. I can't,
Well,
there you go.
You were close to being done, so I want to make sure you don't overdo.
I was trying to blend. I figured you'd catch me, so.
Good. You're a smart chick. The bottles. The bottles are poetically beautiful. Do you see how beautiful those are? And it's because you're using lost and found edges and you're not giving us too much information. The pumpkin that's on its side is beautiful as well. The cut pumpkin, I would bring the seed part all the way towards the very center.
Oh, yeah. I see. I forgot.
And that's it. Don't do anything else. Promise?
No problem. I'm learning from the master.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate
Thank you.
it. All right. Good work, my friend.
Thanks.
Sue. Sue, if you would like to be next, I'll put you in.
Okay, yeah, I put my hand up. I got tired, oh, I don't know, about 20 minutes ago, and I decided I better stop. As my hand was like
You're,
all over the place, so I've just been listening. But I wanted you to
you
know
are
that
so
this is where I
smart.
am. Pardon?
Can you bring it up a little closer, please?
Oh, yeah. Let's see.
Oh, Sue, that is beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, the first thing I notice is the strokes. Look at your linear strokes. You're
Mm-hmm.
creating the shape and the texture just by your strokes. That works really well. I love your bottles. Again, they don't steal the show. They're just the backup story for the rest of it. You might want to stop right here.
Oh,
I
but
mean,
I
well,
missed a couple. Yeah, I didn't do the last couple colors. I'll have to go back to the recording. I didn't put the some of the final highlights. But if you think I should
well,
just stop, I'll just stop. That's fine by me.
to have some coffee with it tomorrow and see what
Okay,
you think.
I
Because
shall
you
do
don't
that.
necessarily have to put every single thing in, you know?
Well, that's true. That's true. Yeah, yeah. I'm really really tickled with it. I found like I don't know, found a little bit of my voice in there, and I'm like, oh, I'm loving it.
I am
So,
too, especially those expressive strokes. I think
hmm
the color and the strokes work really well together in this
yeah,
painting.
yeah.
Beautifully done, my friend. Good
Yeah,
job.
the pastels just seemed so rich to me tonight too, so that was good. I started on a in a lightly sanded paper, so yeah. Okie
Yeah,
dokes.
the paper makes a huge difference, doesn't it?
Uh-huh.
All right. Good work, Sue.
Thank you.
Diane, are you ready? You look like you might be.
Yep.
Hey, holy Toledo, Diane.
Oh, you like it, huh?
I love it. I love it. So the bottles are beautiful. I
Yes,
love
I
how they
love
match
them.
on. You completely fixed the perspective issue with
Uh-huh.
the pumpkin in the front,
Oh, good.
and I like the pumpkin in the back. Um, I don't think you need to go back into this, but if you do, you might want to put a few more darks around the seeds because
Around what?
the seeds in the center of the cut pumpkin.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
thinking that myself. So
yeah, don't lose the dark here. That dark is important.
what about this over here? Is that shape good?
That's beautiful. I have no problem with that dark
Okay.
on this eye.
Mhm.
No problem at all. It works well. All right. Good job,
This
Diane.
bottle looked very dusty to me, so I just blended it in and it just, I like it. Good.
I do too. It's got a nice texture difference to that lumpy looking pumpkin in the front.
Mm-hmm.
Beautifully done.
Thank you.
All right. Pat, Paulette, make sure you unmute and let's put you in the spotlight. Hey, oh, you're muted. You were unmuted before.
Get out. I got to push it again.
Perfect. Okay. I'm so glad you're not overworking this. All right. Pat, that's beautiful. That pumpkin on its side is exquisite, really steals the show. The three bottles look nice. The wedge of the pumpkin looks terrific. You might want to extend the seeds on the inside of the pumpkin all the way to the cut edge.
On the one on its side, or
The one on the platter, the seeds.
expand the amount of it out more for the seeds?
Let me show you what I mean.
Okay.
So you'll notice on the reference photo that what makes this edge look cut is that the seeds and the flesh go right up against it.
Ah, got it. Yep. Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
Don't do anything else. It's a beautiful piece.
Thanks.
Good job. I thought you guys would have a lot more trouble with this. Vivian.
So the
Hey.
perspective is totally different than everyone else's.
That's okay.
Wow.
Oh
That's
my
okay.
God.
Oh, wow. Vivian, I am so impressed that you were able to get such details on that small scale.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
it's
Oh.
almost a it's almost a Dutch master painting. I love how you handled that still life.
Yay, Vivian.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. The tablecloth is okay. I got more table in this picture than anyone else.
Yeah, surprisingly. There's
Okay.
actually this repetition between the tablecloth and the wall that I
Yeah.
really love.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. Thank
Beautiful.
you. I
Beautiful.
appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Your skills have gotten more accurate and quicker. That's impressive.
Oh,
Your speed has improved dramatically.
thanks.
Sean, a
Yes.
lot of the people at our painting group on Monday said this one should be done in a portrait style.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh,
can.
wow.
Well, you can go back and tell them Vivian knocked it out of the ballpark.
Yes, I know. It looks beautiful.
Oh, I don't know where I was. I was pre-sketching so carefully because I wanted to be ready. And I just went the opposite way. Thank
That's all
you.
right. That's all right. I can't tell you how many times I've done that. Jean, Jean, are you ready? Okay. Hi, Jean.
Hello. If I can get this light to work in here.
Ooh,
Nice.
Wow.
Jean, nice highlights on the bottles. They bring your eye around. Um, Hold on a second. I gotta yell. She's stealing the cat food. Sorry. You know how that goes. Jean,
Yes.
there's a repetition in the darks on the pumpkin to the center of the cut wedge of the pumpkin and then to the wedge of the pumpkin. And I would like to see that dark, a little bit darker on your painting. I think that'll really pop it if you do. You know what I'm talking about?
I do. In fact, it was darker and then I thought, oh, it's too dark. And so I just went back over it with orange to cover it up.
Okay.
But now that I
I've
see
done
it
that
like
before.
this, I can see what's wrong. So
All right, my friend. I would reinstate that, and I think it'll be a winner. Ron. Hi, Ron. Who's your little friend there?
Oh, that's Nick. He's a stray
Hi,
cat.
Nick.
He's a stray cat we picked up in Oregon when we were traveling. Where is he now? There
Oh.
he is. That's Nick.
Oh,
Hey, Nick. Oh, he's
Oh,
beautiful.
yeah, he's a
Nick.
sweet boy.
I
More pressing
think
items.
I think he wants to paint with you.
Oh, he's in the middle. As you know, cats are in the middle of everything.
So, Ron, I'm actually quite surprised at how beautiful that pumpkin on its side turned out.
Right.
That you really captured the light logic in that pumpkin.
Good.
The pumpkin that's sitting on the platter, the
Yeah.
wedge is still not 100% convincing. The seeds are convincing. I love how you handled the seeds. But the wedge, the cut part, would be a little sharper and overlap the part that has the
Are you
seeds
talking
in
about
it.
this part or this out here?
I'm talking about
Both.
yeah, both. Let me show you on mine for a quick
Okay.
second. So the cut part here, it needs to, oh, I guess I'm over here now. The cut part needs to overlap the seeds. So this edge needs to be a hard edge against the seeds. The seeds are in the background. The hard edge
Okay.
overlaps it. This part's a little bit bigger than the cut part.
Okay.
Not much, but just a touch. And that helps with the perspective. That'll push that
Okay.
other edge of the pumpkin back. Okay,
I can do that pretty easy. All right.
good. All right. Good job, my friend. You handled this one well.
Dinner is ready, I'm told, so.
Oh, good. All right. Who is missing? Karen. And then VJ, you're going to be after her. So brace yourself.
Wow.
Oh, Karen.
Nice.
Karen, that is beautifully painterly. Very painterly. Um, I like your background and especially the teal against the pumpkin. I think that part works really well. The perspective on the cut pumpkin, a little bit off.
Mhm.
Um, Mainly
Right.
the flesh of the cut piece needs to be a little thicker on the top. You've got it
Oh,
nicely thick on the bottom. So I
okay.
would thicken it on the top and push the seed pod all the way to the center.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
hmm
Mhm.
The texture on that pumpkin is spot on. So you nailed that part. And the cut wedge that's leaning up against it, also spot on. It'd be worth it to fix that one little perspective problem
Okay,
because
I see it.
it snags the eye.
Yep.
All right,
Yeah, thank
beautifully done. Beautiful. I'm loving your pastels. DJ, when you're ready, please feel free to unmute and turn on your camera, and we'll take a look.
Maybe I'll be ready after Thanksgiving.
Oh, no such luck,
you.
girlfriend. Come on,
So funny.
turn on your video too. Okay, there we are. Hi.
I got a lot of cleaning up to do, and
Back up a little so we can see your painting. A little bit more. Okay. All right, good. So in cleaning up, don't do anything with the pumpkins or the bottles. If you're going to clean up anything, maybe the background, let it be a little less, um, make it a different texture than the pumpkins in the foreground. I
okay.
really like the center part of the pumpkin that's on its side. That strong dark immediately grabs my eye and pulls my eye around and through the other dark.
It looks like it needs some seeds, though.
A few. Don't go too crazy with those seeds. One
Okay.
or two is plenty. All right.
And my onions need help, and my,
You know, onions are backup singers. Don't worry about those
yeah.
onions. They're not that crucial. Just keep your eye on the perspective. Don't let that pumpkin that's sitting on the platter get too thick in the middle. Because remember, it's like an ellipse on that platter. It's not a circle, it's
Uh-huh.
an ellipse. So
Okay.
keep it elliptical, and I think you're good to go.
All righty. I've got to have a little tea and coffee with this.
I'm sure you will, my friend, and I'm sure you'll
Thank
finish it up beautifully. Just don't overwork.
you. Oh, yeah. Look how wonky that is. Okay, I got my work set out for me.
Oops, I muted you, BJ. All right, lovely people. So that was a really challenging still life. It's a very classical Dutch still life. I'm going to be sending you a homework assignment that's a David Lafelle painting. And if you've never looked up or seen any of his work, he's one of the top still life artists in the world. And his paintings set record prices, very high realism, beautiful painting. I'm sure you'll fall in love with it. Similar harvesting. So when you get tired of the relatives and eating over Thanksgiving, sneak away to your studio, lock the door, and have some fun with that painting. And I'd love to see what you do. So if you do some work over the next 2 weeks, please send me an email with a JPEG and I'll give you feedback. In the meantime, I hope everyone has a very blessed Thanksgiving. And I'll tell you right now, I'm really grateful to know you all and have the opportunity to work with you all. You have enriched my life immensely. Thank you for taking my classes.
Yes.
Dawn.
Thank you, Sean.
Big
Thank
hugs
you,
and much
thank
love
you.
to
Thank
you
you,
all.
John.
Thank you, everyone, and have a beautiful Thanksgiving.
Yes,
You
same
too.
to
Yes.
you
Absolutely.
all.
You guys all have a good Thanksgiving.
You too.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks.
Good night, everybody.
Night.